Hi, friend, and welcome. I'm Leneen Faith. Thank you for joining my podcast, Express Light. I believe we each have a unique gift and ability. Being created by nature, I have the desire to start my own business, and I know firsthand how important it is to blend creativity and business together. It has not always been easy for me, but I have successfully built my boutique serving people from all over the world. Because of my experience, I am passionate about helping others like myself who are looking to express light in their own lives through their gift, skill, or talent, and make a living doing it. If that's you, tune in each week as I provide tips, interview those who are successful in their craft, as well as share enlightening stories of how to build a business as a creative entrepreneur. Welcome to Express Light. Leneen, I am so excited that you're joining me today. I am really excited to let my viewers know who you are and what the passion that you have. You and I met, just to give them a little history, you and I met through Damon John. We're both entrepreneurs at heart, and we both love to help other people and inspire other people. And I'm excited for my listeners to learn your passion and your story and what it is you do. So I'm just going to hand you the floor and let you kind of explain.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mary Lee, for inviting me. I'm excited to be here. And just to let you know a little bit about me, I am a mom with 3 amazing kids. I'm also a kindergarten teacher, and I'm a children's book author. So with my love for children and my passion to see them get excited about being kids with good character, I ended up writing an 8-book series titled The Adventures of Peacebe and the Heartwatch. And what motivated that is just the climate of our world, and my passion to see kids do the right thing and to make that fun, not where it's something that they're bored or they feel like they're, someone's preaching to them or something like that. But it's something to get them excited and let them know that it's awesome to be kind and helpful and respectful. So I decided to write 8 books, and the main character, his name is Peacebe. He has a magical watch named Heartwatch, and they go on these adventures to teach Peacebe and the kids reading what these character traits are all about.
That is so awesome. So is there any story behind, before you started Peacebe, what drew you to just really wanting to develop that character of peace, really? Because I know you labeled him Peacebe. So and I guess I just kind of question, what are the things in your life that drove you to search for peace?
Well, for me, being around kids in every area of my life, as a mom, in my church, as my job, and just seeing what kids deal with, and just seeing different, just like how there's all different types of adults, there's all different types of kids, and figuring out how can kids come together in a peaceful way and have fun doing it. That was my driving force for writing these books. I also love writing. It's something that I love to do. So my passion for character, because honestly, Mary Lee, I believe that the world would be a better place if more people had good character. That starts from kids all the way to adults. No matter our differences, no matter our beliefs, when we have good character, you just, people get along,
Right.
When you're kind, when you're respectful. And it's a message for children, but in all honesty, a lot of adults have missed that, My passion is for the kids, so I've written the books for them, because if we get them excited about being kids with character, then I believe they'll grow up to be kids with character. As a teacher, you see a lot, and I wanted to figure out a creative way to get kids excited about being kids with character. And the idea of Peacebe was actually before I became a teacher. I got the idea of Peacebe. And it was when I became a teacher in the school system that I saw these character traits. And I was like, ooh, cooperation, responsibility, citizenship, kindness, there's 8 of them. And I'm like, why don't I write a book for each one of these character traits? So Peacebe is something that he's actually, it's an idea that I've had for the past 17 years. He's older than my eldest son. And eventually the goal is for Peacebe to become a cartoon.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So there's, for the people watching, if you want to write children's books, definitely, I would love to share some advice for that. But even though, some people look at me and say, I'm living my dream, there's still more to it. The goal of the end goal is for Peacebe to become a cartoon and positively impact millions of children worldwide. I did start a YouTube recently, so that's like one step there. The books have been around for a good about 7-8 years, and we're in 37 schools, and we've impacted thousands of children positively, and we're in hundreds of homes. So the dream still goes on. So yeah.
I love it. And I love that you have, another bigger goal in mind. And I also love that you want to talk about the writing portion and how you started, because that was going to be my next question. I know, like, you can have an idea, but then, like, where do you go with it if you've never done something like that before? So, like, tell me your process, like how you even got started. I know probably teaching helped you a little bit. Maybe you had contacts. I know, just because I know you and your story a little bit, that you have an artist that's pretty close to you, and that's pretty special too. And I thought maybe you kind of want to share just some of those tips there.
Sure. So first I got the idea, and then I didn't really do anything with the idea for about 5 years. And once I decided, all right, I can't just keep an idea forever, then that's when other things started to go into play. So Google became my best friend during that time. I promise you, it sounds so simple, but literally everything was there. How do I write a children's book? I spent a lot of time there. Once I did that as a writer, the first thing that I did is I typed up the stories. I remember one of my best friends from college, I was telling her about it, and I'm like, I don't know how to start. She said, Leneen, go to Walmart and buy a computer. At the time, I didn't have one. And I got a $300 little computer. And I spent that summer 2010 just typing away the stories. So it sounds so simple, but the first step is to get that idea out of your head and put it on paper. After I did that, then I created what's called a storyboard. I can't draw at all, but thank God I have a brother that's amazingly talented. But whoever your illustrator is, you're going to have to do a storyboard. So basically what I did is printed out what I typed, and then I cut it out, and then I put it together in a book as if it was ready to go. So I did little stick figures for the cover, and I would do little speech bubbles so the illustrator would know exactly what's in my head. And so it takes the guesswork out for the illustrator. That way the illustrator can use their talent and bring to life the idea in my head. So from there, the illustrator puts it all together. That is a time-consuming process. The writing part is the quickest. And then after that, sorry, go ahead.
Stop and ask a question. The illustrator that you're speaking of is your brother. So did he already kind of have some history on, like, is he just drawing the pictures? And then maybe I'm jumping ahead, but I'm curious if he had a background in getting it ready for a book process or anything.
Well, he majored, we both went to UF together, we're 11 months apart, and he majored in digital arts. So that's his giftedness. Okay. However, if you don't have a brother that's an illustrator, there's many different forums where you can go online to find illustrators. Okay. So you don't really need to know the ins and outs if you're a writer. Because there are some writers that are authors and illustrators. I'm just not one of them. But if you don't have someone that's an illustrator in your family, that's a Google click away how to find illustrators. But yeah, I know that he sketched using my son. I don't think I've ever shared that with you. He used my son as a reference, actually.
How fun.
Image right here. My daughter put the sticker on the back of the phone. My son at the time was 3 years old, and he's 16. And I remember David told him to make a pose, and that was the pose that is kind of our logo.
That's fun too.
Yeah. So once you do that, you do your part, give it to an illustrator puts it all together, and then you get it to a printer. And that's really the process. In between an illustrator, let's say your illustrator doesn't know how to lay out the book, then you'd have to find someone to do that. But thankfully my brother was able to do both.
So did you know automatically what printer you wanted to go use, or did you kind of do some history, like best ones for your category, or searching for that or anything?
Well, locally, I would suggest going local because printing in itself is expensive. So then you want to keep in mind, you have to pick up those books. So you want to do it local. So just another Google search away, finding someone locally there. And my brother is a perfectionist. So yes, you can get it less, expensive if you were to go overseas. However, he did not want to risk the quality because then it's a little too risky. So, but everybody, you have to figure out what's best for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I know we put a little bit more in just because we wanted to make sure the quality, and we also went with who we went with because they're local. You want to be able to pick up the books. Right now, we're not selling a huge amount, so we can go to the printer and pick it up, and but you'd have to do what's best. My sister actually wrote a book, and she didn't do it locally. She went online. I think there's something called Ingram and Sparks. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, I wish I would have learned about that. So there's things out there, there's different ways to do it. We just went the route where we had a local printer. But Ingram and Sparks is a good one too that I need to learn more about as well.
I like the idea of going local anyway, just because I am such a local type person and shopping. But so now you have this book and you do what? So do you just start selling it individually on your own? Did you eventually get it published? Where did you go from there?
So after the books, there's such a cool story behind it, but I'm a teacher and I wanted to get it in the school system. So I sent an email out and I remember getting a response saying, well, we do not accept self-published books. Good luck. I promise you, it was the next day I went to this event. It's called Above the Influence, an event for my county in my school district. And and that was a God thing. I happened to ask someone in the crowd, because it was a beautiful event. It almost felt like a magnet. I happened to ask someone in the crowd, do you know who put on this event? And she goes, well, yeah, I did. I was like, well, what's your name? And her name is Mickey Pope. I love her. And I always tell her, you're part of my testimony. Turns out she not only put on the event, but she is the person over everything. Long story short, I showed her our Peacebe books, and it aligns so well with the character traits in the school board. That's what inspired me to write those 8 books. And when they saw the correlation, we got the approval letter to be able to share it amongst our district. And with that approval letter, fast forward, we are now in 37 schools here locally. And we're in hundreds of homes and impacted thousands of kids. And I know 37, it seems like a small number. I'm also a mom and a teacher and all these things. But, I'm grateful to be in 37 schools. One school dedicated a mural to Peacebe because it had such a powerful impact on their school. And my students, one of the moms like, oh, he watches you on YouTube every day. I'm like, oh, we have a little bit of subscribers, but you got to start somewhere. Right. And that would be an encouragement to just start where you are. Do with what you have.
Exactly. That is my push and my mission for people, because I think you get an idea and you just don't know where to go with it. And I think if I summarize a little bit of what you just spoke of, what I see is you had that idea, but you also said you had the initiative to say, I'm going to figure this out. And I feel like that's just that entrepreneurial spirit. But you went and checked out this event. I mean, it clicked, you talked to someone, you had the boldness to go do that. And then look what it did for you. And you say 37 schools is not much, but my goodness, think of the amount of kids that go through those schools and how you are impacting those lives. And that is like, I am in awe and inspired by you for sure. I just love it. So
thank you, Mary.
I can't wait to see it become a TV show. That would be so amazing.
That is the goal. Yeah. It's always been the goal. So I'm actually excited about the YouTube. I'm putting one out a month. Cooperation is out there. In October, we're going to be posting Responsibility. So mid-October, you'll see that. And that's something, Mary Lee, that I actually held on for many years. I was afraid to go out on YouTube and do the reading until I saw 2 other people did Peacebe readings and they weren't me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I afraid of?
Yeah.
It was the guidance counselor and somebody else that I met through on Instagram. They loved the stories and they did their own YouTube reading for it. And I was showing my students that last year. I'm like, wait, I got to do a YouTube reading.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm excited for. So it's just a matter of time. And I'm just grateful for the journey.
It is. And I love even that, you have just the passion to like keep going to the next step. But while we're talking about that next step, let's go ahead and tell people what your Instagram handle is and what your YouTube channel handle is, where they can find you.
Oh, thank you. Yes. For Instagram and Facebook, it is at Peacebe Kids. So let the peace be with you. So Peacebe Kids. And for YouTube, it's actually Team Peacebe. So those are the two different ones.
Team Peacebe.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit personally, like how have you seen this motivate your own kids? I'm sure this has been a family upbringing. They've been through this process with you and it's been a few years. So tell me, like, as you look back now, what are some of the changes that you've seen?
It's so funny you asked that because I recently decided for the rest of the year on Mondays, I'm going to do a Motivation Monday and it's going to be about Peacebe. And I talked about how it impacted my kids. One thing is I practice what I'm preaching in the books, so I've seen my kids, they have good character. And that's something that I'm thankful for. They treat others the way they want to be treated. And they grew up with the Peacebe stories. So to see them live it out, it makes me know as more than a writer, as their mom, that it isn't in vain because I see their character and I don't want to cry, sorry, but it's just a beautiful thing because sometimes we measure success in a different way. But when I see that they're kids of character, I'm like, if that's what I wrote the Peacebe books for, then thank God, because I love my kids and they're also, sorry about that.
No. You know what? These are happy tears because
they're happy tears.
Your success paying off. And it's so true. It's like, they're going to watch you, impact lives and that's inspiring them. And to see them turn into that I 100% agree. There's no greater mission for sure.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing. And they also get involved. My middle son, he's been Peacebe a couple times. He's been the mascot. My daughter will take the pictures. My eldest son, he'll help more with like behind the scenes, but he doesn't want to be the mascot. I think he tried it once and he's like, it's too hot.
Too much.
So they help out. They've come to libraries with me and, helped, organize things. Peacebe's older than all of them. So it's a family affair and I'm grateful for them.
I love that. And I mean, even add your brother in that too. It really is a family affair. You have the support there. And I want to bring up the point too, that really this is still in a way a side hustle for you because you are a teacher full-time. So for the person that is thinking, I have a full-time job, I can't do this on the side, explain what that took for you in that regard, like time-wise, and just, I'm sure it was draining in an aspect to like get it to I have a book in my hand, to that point.
No, yes, that is a great question. It is, like you said, it's something I have only time to do on the side. And when we map out our day, we realize we do have more time than we realize, and there's times when at the beginning of Peacebe where I was just in a zone and I would just write checklists lists and check them off. I can do that on Saturdays. As a teacher, thankfully, I get out earlier. But I'm not going to sit here and lie. I didn't do much during the week with Peacebe because I have my own kids. And at the time, my kids were younger, so helping with homework. But you have Saturdays, you can make time, like maybe an hour or two out the day. I did, however, we met through Damon John, being ambassadors for Damon John's book, Power Shift. I got amazing advice from him because there was a time that I left teaching to pursue Peacebe. And I remember I saw him at an event and then I remember, and he was big on this. He was saying, don't leave your day job, basically. And from him saying that, I ended up going back to teaching because it just wasn't adding up. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm a mom with 3 kids.
Right.
I did it, but then I was humble enough to know that it's not time yet. And I went back to teaching. And right now, how am I doing it? On Saturdays, I'm recording the YouTubes. And I'm just making the best of the time that I have. I also have another job after teaching.
Oh, goodness, girl.
with that, this just happened within the past 2 weeks. But as I look, there's still time for Peacebe. So how do I do it? I just put it on the schedule, whether it's 2 or 3 days out of the week, and I devote those 2 to 3 hours, and a lot can happen in those 2 to 3 hours.
I think you coin it to this: when you want to be successful, or you want to see something happen, you're going to find that time and you're going to make it happen. And that is really what comes down to how it happens. Like, you believe it can be something, you make the progress and the steps to go after that something, and then at some point you see the success of that, and you're beginning to see that success. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so awesome.
Oh, thank you, Marilee. I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. Well, it's so fun to meet you and share your story. And, I just want to give you a moment to wrap up any excess thoughts of, if you had tips for someone who's wanting to start writing a book, or, if you just have tips on character, or for the mom that's side hustling, whatever feedback you want to give, I want to give you that window for.
Sure. So to anybody that's watching or listening, what that thing is for you. It could be a book, it could be a bakery, it could be a clothing line, it could be anything. Only you know what that is. And we get one life. So my encouragement to you is to go ahead and share whatever that is for you, because I am a big believer that our dreams, they're not about us. Peacebe is not about me. I am just a vessel that's being used to get kids excited about being kids with good character. If it's clothing that you're passionate about, or bakery, or whatever that passion is, a fitness club, or whatever it is, it's not about you. It's who are you impacting? Who are you empowering? Who's your mission for? You're just the vessel. So just don't be afraid. And even if you are afraid, because yes, sometimes I was afraid to do that YouTube for years. Even if you are afraid, do it afraid. You will be okay. So I guess that would just be my advice. And the last thing is, so much negativity going on. Be the light. Don't be afraid to share your light. This world needs more light. And I've realized some of us that have light, we tend to keep it inside. But go ahead and share that light, and just let's light up the darkness. That's all.
Absolutely. And it's the joy in you. Everybody has that inspiration and that chance to take part of. And I want to ask one final question. Sure. What is one thing you do every day, or maybe every other day when you have your time, that keeps your light turned on and your joy and your motivation going?
For me, and everybody has, something for them, but for me, I wake, and that's no matter how busy I am, I wake up in the morning, I read my Bible, I pray, and I meditate, which one of my friends explained, because I'm like, what? I think a lot. So I just realized, like, what does that mean? So what I do, first I pray and I write my prayers in my journal. After that, I ask God in my prayers, please speak to me through your word. Then I open my Bible. I just read one chapter a day. That's it. And after that, I'll close my eyes. I'll set my timer for 10 minutes, because I'm not there where I want to know when it's going to end. So I'll set my timer for 10 minutes, and I'm not asking any questions. I'm just quiet. And then I feel those thoughts that are flying around. I just write those down, and I take those as messages, as little whispers. And I can't tell you what a blessing that has been in my life, in so many seasons, because it gives me my guidance of what I need to do, whether it's a valley season, or an uphill season. I forgot a mountain season or a valley season. It gives me my direction, and it brings peace. So that's for me. That's how I start my days. And the days that I don't do it, like if I woke up late and I'm rushing to work, I might do it when I get back. But on average, it's about 5 days out of a 7-day week that I end up doing it.
And really, you just summed up your whole story. So it's your chance to be the student per se, and just be able to take in those thoughts and that inspiration, because I'm 100% in agreement with you. I do the same. And you also summed it up in that that's where your peace comes from. And what a story. And it's so true. And the character that we can learn, and the building that we can put into the lives around us, just by taking what we love to do from, you and I choose to read scripture, and that's how we're inspired. But that inspiration is where we learn what we can do and take out into the world and show the world what joy is, and what we have that can impact and change lives and make this world a better place, really. And so, Leneen, it's been so amazing to visit with you again. It's been way too long. We need to do this more often. Maybe I'll have you back on again. So
awesome. Thank you so much, Mary Lee. It's always fun talking with you. And thank you for everything that you do. And thank you for your light. Your light is a blessing. And I'm just glad that you reached out, and thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And have an awesome day. And we'll chat again soon.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.